JSON objects. So when we have a requirement, uh, I mean, how based on the requirement. See here again, one more suggestion for you, everyone. So it's not like based on the JSON you are creating the REST service. Okay, the process is simple. Like first, what we will going to get in a require, first thing is you will get a requirement. Okay, so you have to design that requirement. So that means you have to analyze. So you have to analyze. Okay, analyze and make some design in the sense what you are going to implement. That is what the meaning of design here it is. Just make a plan. Okay, how you are going to do that. So from the design you will came to know that how your request is going to be, okay, generate, I mean how your request is going should be generated. So the request format you have to make based on that requirement analysis and everything. So from that you will create the JSON. Okay, from that you can create a JSON payload. So and then from the JSON payload people will write down the POJO classes, nothing but request body classes, or maybe like I can say like JSON mapping POJOs. JSON mapping POJOs so that you can use these JSON mappings wherever, I mean mapping classes as a request body classes wherever we want. So that is how generally things will happen. People will define most of the times from the request format point of view how to generate the JSON and all. So you should have a clarity how to understand a requirement. So for example, in the last class, we taken like employee information and address information. So we know that employee is a main objective here. Address is a sub objective for the employee in a simple requirement understanding point of view, right? And similarly, we know that address is having its own properties. I mean, as well as the employee personal details is having its own properties. So tomorrow you may have one more section called as assume education. So then you may define again as part of education where you completed your 10th standard and 10+2 or your graduation, post-graduation, all these things. You may collect details again as part of the education. Similarly, if you are a employee, so they might have collect your employment information. Okay, then. So that means this is all representing what a front-end application, assume just like that. They are collecting data from the front end. So they are collecting your details, your address, your education, your employment. So it's not good to make every property as an individual property. So for example, if I made like this, it's not at all good. For example, if I made like, okay, something 10th standard or whatever it is, colon, so and so year or whatever it is. If I'm making one by one property like this without any nested objects and all, it will not at all give you the, okay, the good, I mean, it's not about the good looking, it's all about the compatibility going further. It's all about segregating the data also based on the objective. Okay, based on the objective, you are segregating the data also. So that's why people will follow all these nested things and everything. Okay, so now similarly, what we will do today's session is, I'll take one more example, or we can do one more thing. So we will take a small example of a JSON array. Okay, I will involve in today's example JSON arrays also, and where I will try to include a nested JSON objects also. Okay, nested JSON object also, and then we will try to write down our POJO class. We will try to write down our POJO class. We will try to implement our POJO class. Okay, so please concentrate again. I told you already. So it's a very important thing when you are making a mapping between JSON versus Java classes. Okay, so generally people will prepare mostly JSON only first. Okay, so don't worry. Mostly people will create JSON first, and then from that people will write down the what request classes or request body classes or POJO classes, then Java classes in simple format. Okay, so people will call it as something like JSON stubs or whatever it is, but people will write mostly JSON structure always based on the requirement. So in this case, what I can do here it is, I'll take a new example, and in the nested object, we know that what we implemented in the last class, user details, we taken 4 details based on the straightforward information, but in the nested, you have nested JSON object. So that way you take a nested Java class. Okay, so and this is what very important. The property name, Java property name should be JSON property. Okay, class name might be anything, but property name should be important. Similarly, once you are going to this class, yes, it is a nested Java class kind of thing. So city, area, state, and everything you mention. So that's why the mapping is completed as expected, and the data is converted by the HTTP message converter from JSON to Java as expected without missing any property. Okay, same kind of example we will take, but one we will take with the arrays now. So in this case, what I'm planning here it is, instead of we are taking, I will show you, I'll do one thing, or else we will take a requirement also. Let me plan a requirement. So what it is, for example, I'll collect details. I need some group of values repeated again and again. Okay, I'll do one thing. So see here, student information. So assume this is a requirement. Assume you are filling a form like Naukri kind of thing. Okay, yeah, assume Naukri. Assume it's all a scenario from the Naukri. So generally, when you are filling your profile in the Naukri, they will ask what your own details, personal details like your name, first name, gender, date of birth, all these things. Okay, so personal information, that is fine. And as well as what they will ask your education details. So as part of education, what they will do, they will, 10th standard, whatever it is, or as per our Indian government. So they will ask what is your institute name or organization name. So something like name of organization. I will take it as name of organization as a school. Not only this will not, they will ask. Okay, I will do one thing. Class, name of organization, and simply the passed out year. So year is nothing but in this case passed year. I will make like this, passed year. So this is all details I want to collect. Similarly, in some of newly created applications, for example, assume I'm going to get a requirement like I have to collect a person details, and personal details is just like first name, last name, those are all straightforward. As well as education level, I have to collect all class, what is the class he studied first, name of organization, passed out year, okay, maybe percentage, average CGPA, whatever it is. Okay, I average. Okay, so something like that. What is the average he got in that standard? So this information I want to collect. So generally, a person will have multiple, okay, education completions. I mean, in his career, he will complete a lot of other steps also, like 10th standard as well as 10 plus 2. So in this case, the requirement is demanding. We have to collect his school information. After the 10 plus 2 also, I have to collect all the information mandatorily. And then graduation. And then post-graduation. So these are all details I want to collect. And as part of this, everything I have to collect, class, name, organization for every, okay, for every step, you have to collect all this information. Then tell me how many, for example, assume minimum 3 values I want here, because when you are applying for a job, or maybe assume they are collecting all graduation, minimum education qualification is graduation. So they are collecting their details. So that means total you will get 3 values here, 3 objects. One is 10th standard level, one more information is for 10 plus 2, one more for the graduation, one more for the post graduation, in case if you have any other extra levels also. So that means what is happening here, your data is getting repeated. Same keys, but data is getting repeated with different values. So in such scenario, generally what we will do, we will use a concept called as arrays. In any programming language, to represent group of same values, okay, or same type of values, we are going to use a concept called as same type in the sense data type or same whatever, same type of values repeatedly, or as a group of same type values, we will use a concept of arrays. You know that very well. Now in this case, let's make same thing in the JSON point of view. How I'm going to make a basic payload, a prototype of JSON payload based on this information we will try to see. Okay, and so how we are going to represent this requirement in JSON format point of view, we are trying to see now. Okay, so see here, JSON, how I'm going to do that. So for example, assume in this case, what I will do, I will add address also. So whatever the details first we have in earlier case, I'm just continuing that. Okay, so you see here, education like this. Employment, maybe assume you can add one more section in your practice level, employment after this class. Like assume you already work for 2 to 3 companies, your company name, from when, from what, okay, what is your designation. So here, this you can take as an assignment. I will give you something like this, company name, okay, starting year, end year, at what time you are implemented, at what time you implemented. So here, your designation, okay. So your just maybe these 4 details I want. I assume you are working for more than one company. So then same details will be repeated, but data is going to be different data. So you just take that. But in this case, this is what my requirement. Only I'm going to collect name, address, as well as education details. Personal info. So here, yes, address also I want. Based on that, I'm writing the JSON. So see here, until this, you know that I'll delete everything. Okay, until this, we already completed in the last class. So that means with respect to name, I would like to collect his name, email, password, contact, whatever it is. And as well as I'm collecting address information for these details. So up to this, a nested JSON object. But how I'm going to represent the education details now? So I'm going to give the key name. For example, as a developer, I decided my key name as education or education details, whatever it is. Now, how I'm going to represent this repeated data with different values, but keys are same. So it is just representing a concept called as arrays, like whatever we know in our Java language also. So in any language, generally it's all arrays concept always. So that means in JSON also, now I have to represent that same functionality in a JSON array point of view. How I'm going to represent JSON arrays, here it is. Okay, first thing is, observe what is the information you are collecting. You are collecting what? Education information. Okay, let's make a valid key name. So see here, comma I'm making. Why? Property 1, property 2, property 3, property 4, property 5, and I do have other properties also. So that's why what I'm making, education data or details, whatever it is. So I'm just making one more key name, here it is. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. Okay, education data. But at the same time, education data is not something like only one set of information. It's a repeated set of information every time. So that's why I cannot take object this time. So what I have to take, here it is, I have to take array. So this time I have to take array. Okay, fine. Okay, education data representing what? Array of values. That means repeated data. So now in this case, and at the same time, in an education level, how many values? An array of one value is representing 4 properties again. That means a simple JSON object. I'm considering this as a one JSON object. This one as another JSON object. This one as another JSON object. So that means it's group of JSON values. So while performing find all method on many to many relationship, I got lazy fetching error. Ardhan ki Sai Pawan, I already told you so many times. Don't ask, okay, the other concept doubts here when I'm explaining about a new concept or whenever it is. So it's for everyone. Don't ask me doubts in the last 5-10 minutes if it is not related to the current topic. If it is related to current topic, ask then doubt in the meanwhile in the discussion. So you should know that manners, okay? Otherwise you will not survive in anywhere else. I know people will have a lot of doubts, but you can ask me at the same time. You are having a responsibility also, I know that. And at the same time, I have my responsibility to answer you. But it's not the way, like whenever I'm explaining very seriously and 200 people are attending and they are asking, they are listening very careful, and you guys are just, okay, sending your own problems on the chat. Ask me in the last 5-10 minutes if it is not related to the current discussion. If it is related to current discussion, immediately ask. I will answer everyone's doubt. So I don't want to repeat this time or next time onwards. It will distract, guys. It will distract. You will only lose the subject. It's up to your choice. And make a good ethics also when you are attending the online sessions. Not only here, even tomorrow when you are joining any companies also, every day you will attend hours and hours calls. Then how you are going to manage all these ethics? You are going to ask last month doubt in the current when seriously business team is discussing. then they will laugh you like anything. So please understand. Okay. So I told you so many times, ask irrelevant, I mean, out of the topic after some point of time or last 5-10 minutes. See, no one will explain you guys like this. I'm frankly telling you, no one will explain you all this, whatever I'm just facing or whatever I'm using on daily basis in my real-time project. That is the way I'm explaining it. Okay, no one will explain. I know how people will explain. Simply they will give a simple JSON array. Okay, I have name, email. Let's take a small JSON array. Okay, so I'll give like this example. Done. Subjects in a simple format. Okay, string values. I'll take English. I can make it very simple also. English. Okay, I can make it as sign, or I can make it as something like Hindi. Okay, I can make it as something like computer science or whatever it is. Okay, done. Okay, let's make it as a Pojo class. Okay, let's take. Okay, list of string. What is that? Subjects. Done. Example is done. If you want me to let me know, I will complete this kind of examples. I'll make your life very smooth. And I mean, I'll make your understanding is just like an LKG student standard level. Then you will not get any subject, then you will not face, I mean, you will not get the reality and you will not get a job also. If you want me to do that. I'll do that. I know how people will go that, and I know how I'm doing that also. So I mean, you can ask me doubts, but I'm not saying like don't ask, but ask me the current topic, especially that will make us interactive session. I need always questions from you, but at the same time, depends on the situation. Current topic, okay, ask something related to JSON arrays. So that those kind of things. What is one-to-one mapping is doing here? That's what. I will not open chat box going further. It's better, I think. I'll feel like, okay, maybe problem, one student is getting problem. He's not understanding. Let me consider his doubt. Okay, so see here now. You guys will never, you're not realizing guys what I'm training. Just go and compare with other trainings. Okay, so see here. Yeah, so now in education data, so see, understanding requirement, making a analysis, making a design of implementation. That is what the critical in every project. See, writing code, everyone will do that. Once you are able to understand the requirement, how you have to segregate your requirement into design point of view, design to coding. So that is why I given these steps. Requirement you got, we are analyzing how to do that. Based on that, we are making a plan, we are making an architecture, we are making a design. And then based on that, we are trying to prepare the JSON. Then you are going to write down the Pojo class. Then writing so code, taking data from the object, sending it to the JP, everyone knows that. But what about this? Okay. Definitely you will be selected if you are able to explain in the same format, whatever I'm explaining. Try to explain in interview in the same format. When they are asking, sir, can you explain about a REST service, how to implement? Just explain them in the same format. So this is what the requirement. I just analyze it like this. This is what we are doing. This is what, okay, I'm making first thing as a JSON data and then address only one information, but multiple properties. So single object, but education data, multiple information, qualifications. So multiple information repeated same time. So I'm just taking this as JSON array. Like that, you just explain, you will be selected 100%. I'm giving you guarantee for that. People will be impressed with that kind of explanation, even though you're fresher. Okay, so see here now. Okay, so in education point of view, I have to collect which standard he was. I can take it as standard also. Okay, so what standard he was studying? In case of class confusing, something like that. Okay, so for total 4 information, but it is repeated information. 10 plus 2 inter, okay, maybe graduation, post graduation, all these things, PhD, masters, whatever it is. Now, so same information I have to repeated information. So that's why I decided like, let's take it as a JSON array. Okay, fine, that is also good. But at the same time, when I told you like, maybe I want only standards. Okay, what? Just I want only what standards up to that they completed 10 plus 2 intermediate. I mean graduation, something like that. Only one information. Yes, I can. Here also 2003, 2005, 2012, 2008, something like that. Just you are collecting. Okay, sorry. You are just collecting 10 plus 2. something like graduation, BSc Computer Science, BTech, whatever it is. Okay, BA, whatever it is. So you're just collecting only one value. Then you can you don't need to represent in this kind of scenarios nested JSON objects. Okay, JSON object, because only one property. Then what is the use of creating object? So simply you can make it as, okay, so 10 comma so maybe intermediate something, or in okay, I don't know in other states what it will be called, or you can just 10 plus 2, okay, comma, so something like graduation, whatever the qualification special like graduation. So you're just collecting what? A JSON group of values, JSON array of values, just like a single values, 10, intermediate and everything. So you can consider this as your assignment also. It's a very simple example. So that's why I told you go through the JSON tutorial once, you will understand. Okay, but in this case, I'm not only dealing with the one standard. Similarly, I do have other properties also. You just try with one property also when you are practicing. You can take something, whatever you feel. Okay, but in this case, four properties repeating. So 4 properties I cannot represent. So something like that, I cannot give again values like this here. Okay, standard 10 plus 2. So it's not like even in one JSON object, this is all representing what? This is all representing set of properties as a single component point of view, single object point of view, because you don't have any delimiters, you don't have any separators, something like that. And you should not use JSON key 2 times in the same JSON object level. So here I cannot use second time name again, something like, okay, some other value. I cannot use name 2 times. So that is why. So how we are going to do that? It's a JSON object. Now array of JSON objects. Okay, 1, comma, 2, I mean just something like 3. Like that, comma, you just add. Now it's graduation, post graduation, masters, whatever it is. Now people can add their information. So here, second and followed by the third. Okay, that means how you should understand. That is what I have told you. So you just need to understand in a basic, as a simple customer point of view, you have to understand how you are making the things. Okay, fine. Now see, everything is good. Okay, so based on this, assume you created a JSON payload. I'll rename the key names. We should not maintain spaces, all these things. Okay, so see here now it looks like somewhat, I mean, it looks like a valid syntax, valid signature, I mean, valid JSON format based on the requirement point of view. It's very clear now. Single keys information. Okay, fine. That's why you take in as a directly. And maybe address information as a separate component, and education you're collecting, but education is having different, same data with different values in different scenarios. Okay, so then here standard, okay, I will do name of organization, whatever it is. Pass year, average percentage. Okay, so see here. Now all the rules will be applied again. Double quotes, colons, comma, everything. Why I'm doing all this? I can copy paste directly. Okay, now it's all about colons. I'm not making values and all. You just understood. Okay, anyway, I need it for the testing also. I'll make everything. This is the last example. Okay, I'm explaining you to convert from how to understand, how to create a JSON from the requirement point of view, and how to prepare your own JSON payload based on the request, and how to write respective Java classes based on the JSON structure or JSON nested JSON objects, JSON arrays and all. This is the last example, and it's a big example also. But it's a very important step nowadays. Okay, and as well as 10, I can give value. 10, comma, name of organization. So I'll just take something like ABC. Past year 2003 something. Average percentage I'll give. Okay, so something like this, comma. Okay, fine. So again, same set of keys, but values are different for the different standard. Okay, fine. Here I'll give 10 plus 2 intermediate or whatever it is. Okay, I'll give in like XYZ, passed out year 2005. Okay, so percentage is something like 80.77, whatever it is. Standard again, here I'll give like graduation. So I just studied from the, so I mean, just like value PQR I'm giving, and it's all assume 2009 or 2010, whatever it is. Okay, so then average percentage assume 66.66 something. So now see, this is how you have to prepare your JSON data. So this is representing what? The entire JSON structure, the entire JSON array of values. Sorry, the entire JSON education data is representing. So in this case, I'm writing education data is representing what? Array of JSON objects, JSON object, JSON objects, array of JSON objects. Okay, now for this you have to write down the Java class. How you are going to do that? So now you can add comma if you are having PG, if you are having some other extra add. Hundreds of details you can add now in a repeated mode. Okay, now how you are going to? So first of all, let's validate. Is it a valid JSON or not? What you prepared? Any spelling? I mean, anywhere else? Any? Maybe missing colons, all these things point of view. Oh, see, everything is good. So that's what. Don't be like in a hurry mode, like creating your JSONs. No need to confuse. Make it very simply. Think peacefully. Make it step by step. Understand what you are doing line by line, property by property. Apply your sense. That's all you need to do while you are preparing JSON from the requirement point of view. Okay, don't worry. Like, okay, in the hurry mode, okay, don't prepare and don't get. See, if you are making in a step by step analysis, step by step content making or JSON adding JSON properties and all, you can understand very easily. Okay, now let's make a Java class for this. Why? Because this data I assume coming from the front end. So when user clicked on the finally submit button or register button, the front end team will convert the front end forms and the entire data they are going to convert it to the where in which format? JSON format. Finally, your controller layer level or your backend application receiving data from front end to your backend level as a JSON. That is what this is JSON. I assume this JSON is finally prepared by a front end application. A user clicked on the submit button, delete, and in the backend, finally a JSON payload is created like this. Once user clicked on the submit button, and this data as it is coming to the backend application. Can we make many more ways in one data or anytime? Any limits? Yes, you can. That's what. There is no limitation. For example, now you can do one more thing, comma, employee main. Employee, okay, that's why I told you. You just add one more array in our practice, employee data, similarly like this. And I given you idea also what to do that. Okay, maybe I deleted. Yeah, I given you company name, starting year, ending year, designation, whatever it is. Okay, even in array inside array, yes, it's all possibility. So for example, assume tomorrow you have one more property here, array. Inside that object, if you want, you can add something. What is the possible values here? So assume I can take like subjects. Subjects, main subject, something you will have graduation level. What are the main subjects, intermediate level, something like that. Assume again, I'm going to take array of value because I'm going to provide more than one value like science, English, all these things. So array of values. You just try this. Okay, I will not add this property, but you just try this. Okay, so something like first language, second language, something we will have English, Hindi, Telugu, all these things, right, in our education system. Okay, Hindi, comma, something like whatever it is, maths. So here, this is also intermediate to what is our specialization, add subjects, but I am not adding. So here my concept is array, inside array JSON object, Inside JSON object, again, one more array with string values. So that means any kind of data is possible. Any kind of data is possible. Based on that, you have to be ready with writing the Java class. Okay, I will just give you a hint how to write down this, but I will not do here, but you can take. Maybe you just take a screenshot or whatever it is. I'll keep as it is, but I will not add this property in our example, but you just try that. Okay, so see here how we are going to prepare the Java also. Okay, I'll add it later as assignment point of view. It's up to your wish whether you're practicing or not. See, I know that guys, you guys are going to get the difficulties while you're practicing, but don't leave your practice with small difficulties. Okay, because once you are joining into project, you don't know what you are going to get. Every day, new technologies are coming, new concepts are coming. It's not like every day you are going to write down a simple core Java program, your job is done, you are going to get the salary. No. 100% every day is a challenge. Even though the person is experienced person, 10 years, 12 years, he studied in IIT, IIM, wherever it is. Every day is a challenge. Every day is a new technology. Every day new concepts are coming, new tools are coming, okay, in the market. So every day you have to make a lot of experiments to survive in the software industry. So that's why don't leave, try to make sure problem solving skills, improve problem solving skills, become smart, where to get solution, how to get solution. It's not like always depends on the human. Don't depend on the human always. It's up to one extent, but after that, just try to make sure ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, whatever it is, whatever the possible way, get it resolved. That is what you have to make sure. Don't why. Okay, so that is how you need to get the subject. Okay, so see here now. Yeah, Java I will make. You just take care of employee data and all. Even you can try this option also. I'll add this as an assignment. Okay, so here I'll add this. You just take care of that. Okay, so let's take a Pojo class for this. So what I will do in this case is, okay, so how to make a Pojo class for this, let's understand. Okay, so in this case, first I will shorten this. Okay, this is address is mandatory, education data is mandatory, and education data. Okay, what I will do here it is, it's all group of values, right? So array in the sense, you may have extend that, set of values, same set of values will be repeated n number of times. There is no limitation, something like that. Okay, comma. So I'll just make it as okay. So just increase it. Okay, so see here now. So this is what the final you just created. So from this, how to make a good practice of creating the data, I'll try to tell you. So see here, if you segregated JSON payload, what you have first thing is overall JSON object. The first primary thing is if you're traversing from outer side to inner side, first thing is JSON object. Okay, so fine, we know that how to make the JSON object. But my suggestion here it is, try to go in a way like, okay, from internal to external. So that means come back to the inner depth element, JSON element. So here, object, inside object, okay, inside object, one more object, and after that one more property, and inside one more property, you have JSON object. So what I will try to tell here it is, take this value first. Okay, so for this, what you have to write down? You have to write down a what? Java class. Why Java class? It's a simple JSON object. So this one. And what are the how many properties I have? Standard, name of organization, past year, and all. So total 4 properties I have. Assume I written my class name as education details. Okay, so here I'll take my property name, something like, okay, not something like, I can take as it is properties names, standard, name of organization. Okay, assume in Java point of view, the data types also, we will write down in the Eclipse now. First prototype I am giving, name of organization, past year, and similarly, average percentage, something like that. Okay, so this is the 4 values or 4 Java properties you are going to create in your employee details class. So you have created only one Java class now as of now. So how many? One Java class. Okay, fine. So let's create this now. Okay, or else I'll do one thing. First we'll discuss. Okay, fine. Now, at the same time, this is completed. And if you're going a step back, then it's what? Array. So array of what? Education data is the property. And education data, just understand the hierarchy. Okay, if you compare the hierarchy of JSON, so at this level, all this information is available. At this level, all this information. So that means you have to take a Java class now. So based on this, you have to take a Java class now. I will write down a Java class, something like employee candidate information, whatever it is, candidate information. Okay, fine. So as part of this, I will write down name, because yes, name is an individual property, email followed by password, followed by contact. Okay, so up to this is fine. Then what about the address? Address, we know that how to write down, because last class we did. For address, you will define, so here address details. The above data types are something like string, long something, but here what you are going to do, address details is nothing but you have to create one more class for this data. For this data, one more Java class. So that means what is that Java class? Address details. Simply a JSON object is going to convert as a Java, a simple Java class. So in this case, address details. So as part of address details class, you are going to make what? City, area, state, pin code. City, area, pin code. One more Java class you are writing. Okay, fine. Now this Java class you are representing. You are representing in the main object. This is the main class, representing the first thing. Okay, so this is what you are representing here. And similarly, education details also you have to represent here. But at the same time, one small thing what you have to consider here, it is this property. See here, when you are writing address as a JSON key, you represented JSON key here also. Okay, fine. Now similarly, what about the education data is a property. So here you have to define, let's define first of all education property, education data property name. Okay, fine. So just define the property name first. Decide data type what you have to give. Now tell me what is the data type I have to give. So I can give, can I something like only education details? If I given class name, yeah, data type only something like education details, then in Java language point of view, it is representing only one object. In candidate information object, you will keep only what? One object. You will keep only one object. So that means a single education details object, a single address object. These two objects you are keeping inside the candidate information object, right? But in this case, it's not the requirement. It is representing what? An array. It's representing an array in the sense group of values, more than one value. So in Java, like however we have arrays concept. Okay, so one thing is what you can do. So if you made here something like, okay, just what? Java array of values. If you made here what? Now internally the Jackson API, the message converters will understand, okay, array of values, array of what? These objects. So this is all representing Java objects in a Java language point of view. Now first object, this will be created as a simple Java object. So in this case, now what is going to happen? If it is education data, so that means your E1 object, education 1, education 2. So the number of properties you shared, the number of nested objects, the number of JSON objects you shared as part of the array, those many internally education details objects will be created, E3. So that means in the array finally you have in Java language point of view E1 object, comma, E2 object, comma, E3 object. E1, E2, E3 objects. So this is how internally this entire data will be converted as array of data. Array of data. So, but at the same time, generally, we know that whenever we have group of elements or a group of objects in Java language oriented, I'm talking, we will always try to prefer in Java language point of view. Just answer me. When you are having group of objects, multiple objects in a single object level, or you have to handle as a single element, internal it is going to contain multiple Java objects of a Java class. We know that we can use arrays. That's a basic data structure. Along with that, what we know, which is making our life is very easy with respect to avoiding the size, index size, all these things. What we know, a simple format, collections, as part of collections, array list, right? Yes, good. So now even Jackson API is saying when you are having JSON arrays, so that means when we have JSON array, we can directly use instead of arrays in the Java language point of view, because arrays and all, you know that we have some complexity with arrays. What index out of bounds exception, you have to define the size dynamically, and there may be a chance, because who knows? See, for example, you submitted, you are only graduation students, you completed 3 details. So that's why I cannot make size as 3, because if I submitted my details, I completed post graduation also, then 4 details, then array index out of bounds exception, or some other person completed PhD also, 5 information. So at the same time, you should not give the 5, because every person will not have 5. So unnecessarily you're wasting the memory. So I mean, whatever it is, reason, and at the same time, making programming with array is also a little bit difficult. To make simplify of all that information only, to avoid the duplicates, whatever it is, we have a framework called as collection framework, right? So in this case, you can use array list directly. Array list you can use directly. Okay, you can use array list directly. Array list of Java in that case. So that means instead of array, what I can tell you here it is, you can make it as the same thing in this way. Instead of declaring as array and all, Jackson API is supporting, don't worry. So what I will do, list of what? Generic type. Generic type means the class name, education details. Education details. And the property name is important here. What is the property name? Education data. From where you define this property name? From here. So why you given education data as a property name? Because you have property name as like this. Now in this case, this entire information, the repeated information is going to convert everything as a list of objects. That's all. Now finally at request body level, you are going to get a candidate information object, and inside that a master class, super class. I mean, I cannot say like super class, something like a composite class point of view. A main object is candidate information. Inside that you have single address object. Inside that you have list of education details object. Now you know how to play with the array list, linked list, all these things. I mean, collection objects. Okay, so that means in this case, if you define list, so internally Jackson API will identify, okay, list, but list is an interface. It's all there. Okay, internally Jackson will understand, okay, what is the implemented class from the list, array list. So they will create internally a array list object based on the data type what you given in the list level. So they will create a array list object. Okay, and they will assign that array list object to the list reference. You know that inside generally we can do like this list. Okay, something instance reference equal to new array list, we can do that. So implemented class object can be referred, something like that. But finally, you are going to get list of objects. Internally, it's all array list of objects. That is all going to taken care by the conversion from JSON array of values to the the respective Java objects is going to taken care by the Jackson API. Okay, fine. For example, I told you once. Okay, I will not add here. But I told you, in case assume only one value. So here, this is also a JSON array. But what is the difference between previous one and current one is, in this case? Okay, so in this case, what? Here, JSON array of values. I'm not, okay, but only thing is, it's not like JSON objects. Not an array with objects. An array with values. Only one value. English, Hindi, like that. So in this case, can you guess what is the Java data type I can define? For this property, what is the Java property I have to define? Array, I know that. Give me clear picture now. I given only JSON array. String, what string? Yeah, that's what you are correct, Madhav. String, but somewhat list of string. Yes, that's all done. So it's a single values in Java. How you are dealing, guys? Single values, list of string, list of integer, something like that. When you are having objects like the predefined component, I mean, with combination of properties and all, then you are going to take list of students, list of employee, list of user details, order details, something like that. But when you are having individual values, straight primitive values or whatever it is, list integer, list string, list double, something like that, right? So that's all. Now what you will do, list string, you will add one more property in your Java class called as, in case if you are adding that this property subjects here. Now this list string subjects. Okay, sorry. Here you need to give the property name is important. What is that property name? Subjects. Now simply what you will do, you will give this property name. Where go to the Java class where you are trying to create. Education. No. Yeah, education details. So just add this property. That's all done. Your assignment is completed. I given you the answer also. Okay. Now automatically internally the subjects will be converted to a list of objects. So that's all. In education class details, you define one more property as a list. But you just try that. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's implement the Java class immediately. Okay, let me make it say word rest JSON. Erase. Okay, so whatever we decided, let's make a Java classes now. So in this case, what I'm trying to do, see, for example, I already have a information. What? For education details, we'll take another class. That's all. That's all. For education, we can take another class because we already maintained in last class we completed until address. Today we added JSON array, right? So for that, what we have to do, we already have this class, user details, whatever it is. Now, simply I'm going to write down one more Java class for the JSON object available inside the array. And then I will make this JSON, I mean, the new class, what I'm going to create now is going to define in the main class as a list of the objects, list of education details objects. So that's what we have to do if you are implementing, if you are reusing the last classes, the Friday classes. So if you see here, user details request DTO name, I have everything I have. Okay, version 2 I implemented, right? So here I have address details. Okay, see here, I'm not touching the, I'll take one more class as version 3. I'll do one thing. DTO dot version 3. DTO dot v3. So that I'll just create new package. See, I'm not doing anything. Just for your information only, I'm segregating the data. Okay, so here also what I will do, address details, I'm going to convert it as v3, version 3, something like that, extended point of view. Yeah, v3. Okay, I created. Now see here, I'm not using the predefined the last week classes. Okay, so now simply assume first user details request, or I can do one thing also, candidate information. I can rename it, no problem. Candidate information. Okay, I'm renaming my class name, rename file to candidate information.java. Okay, fine. Inside that, I'm going to take what? Address, details also. REST API, DTO something. Registration.dto, user registration, user.registration. Okay, I'll rename this package. I'll move this one also here. I'm just making, our example is clear with our explanation only. Okay, candidate information. Assume I just created the property name, email, password, contact. Okay, name, email, password, contact, and I taken one more class called as address details. Okay, let me make it as address details. Okay, so and then address details. Yes, I have a class city area with address details in the same package. Okay, fine. Now, if you go to the address, you have city, area, state, pin code, city, area, pin code, and everything. Now, next, the topic is education details. So, first, it is a array of value you have to define where in the main class. So, that means in this case, it's all a list of the education details. Education details. Okay, but you don't have a class. You are not created as of now. But what is the property name? You have to take education data. So that's why here the property name is becoming education data. Okay, let me write down education data. Education data. Okay, so in this case, you are not created. We are not created education details class. That's why it is showing the error. Now create a class of education details. Okay, so in the same level, finish it. Okay, so see here now. Education details. So how many properties? 4 properties. Standard, name of organization, past year, average performance. I mean percentage, sorry. Okay, so standard, private, standard. So with this example, I will not explain you again how to prepare JSON, how to prepare POJOs and everything. It's done. Okay, so very clearly we completed everything, nested arrays and everything. And I given complex examples only, not small one. Okay, name of organization where you studied, and second one is past year. Okay, past year I can take it as integer. Average performance I will take it as a double also. Double average percentage. Past year I can take it as integer. Fine. So let me write down setter getters. So that means Lombok. Okay. So now see here, our entire information is completed. So the main class candidate information. So yes, name, email, password, contact done. Address, second property. Yes, you have address property. But inside address, it's a Java JSON objects. You have 4 properties. Go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, everything is done. Now let's come back to the education data. Education data is a JSON array available in the hierarchy of the main class candidate information. So that means now go back to the candidate information. Yes, you have a property called as education data and it is representing array. So here list, okay, possible. And education details. Why is a user defined class? Because it internally it contains a lot of other properties as a JSON object. So tomorrow if I'm giving the assignment like this list, what you are going to do? Nothing. If you are adding list of string, that's all, your example is completed. Subjects, your assignment is completed. Okay, you just do that, but still like that you just need to understand the hierarchy. Okay, JSON array, list matching, property name also given the as expected, everything is good. So any doubts until this point before going with the testing? Thanks. Even if you say I have a doubt in this, I don't have anything to explain also. I explained everything. Okay. So okay, so let's do one thing. Yeah, I'll go to the controller. I'll write down a new controller, so I don't want to mix it. Something like candidate info, candidate management controller. So quickly I'll write down. So you know how to write down a controller at the rate. Rest controller. So next, it's all about an endpoint. So I'm using directly post mapping so that insertion of data slash candidate slash register. Okay. Is it clear now? Lochan Kumar. Sir, in entity class not giving list of education. We can give, that is what mapping Metla Nagaraju. Okay. In entity we can give list. That is what all about the mapping. We did write one to many. What is the one to many? Employee versus address, we given list of addresses. Now in this case, what? You will add one more property, list of, in the entity class, you will create one more table called as education details. You will make a relationship from candidate table to education details, one to many relationship. Okay. So if you are, see, that is what problem. If we are asking this doubt, right? Is it mandatory to write always same thing? Why don't you test on your own? If it is working, that means no need to give slash in the starting. If it is not working, it's required to give, right? So you can try those kinds of details. You have to become smart while you're asking the doubts also. Okay, so registration of candidate. See, if something is there in your hands, try, man. No need to ask doubts again to me. Okay, fine. Okay, so now we know that post mapping, definitely we need a request body. We are getting a lot of, request body. So to convert from JSON to Java point of view, we are just making a instruction, or we are just configuring the incoming JSON coming for this endpoint, converted to which Java class object. So to invoke the HTTP message converters, to inform to the HTTP message converters to convert from Java to JSON point of view, JSON to Java point of view, what you have to do, request body annotation. Request body annotation. So here, what is the main class? Candidate information. Yes. So you can give any variable name. It's all your choice. Yeah, candidate information. Okay, so here return user, so candidate registration. Completed. See, now it's all your choice, guys. Forwarding to the service layer, okay, in the service to repository. So how you are making the relationship. Now you can make one more table. Total 3 tables will be involved here. I can give you a suggestion like that. So what it is? Candidate information, one table. Address information, one more table. Maintain one-to-one relationship between the employee versus address. Create one more table called as education details. Okay, make one-to-many relationship between employee versus, candidate versus education details. So one-to-many relationship. Okay, so now that is how you have to improve your practice. That is how you have to understand the JPA. Don't skip. You also, once you are getting mapping completed, this one can be done by a 5th class student also nowadays, whatever we discussed. Okay, but the rest is history. Like that, you need to think. That is what you have to do. Don't, become like rest is history. Nothing but you forgot everything. So make it. It's our responsibility now. It's a simple JPA from here onwards. Okay. So I'm just request receive. So what I will do, I'll just print it. Internally, it is overridden the toString method also. So that's why you will see all the information is really converted to this endpoint, this request body or not. If you have any doubts, ask me. No problem. Current, whatever we discussed right now, even REST services related at least. Okay, let me start my application now. So anything else we are missing? Okay, so started everything as expected without any exceptions. Now go back to the project. Take a new request. And what is the URI? What is the port number? 9999 Flipkart. Okay. Okay, let's take the JSON payload first. What we prepared. Data also we have. Okay, so here, until this, okay, we have comma. What is our URI? Okay, first let me copy paste the body because I already copied. Deleting old one. Paste new one. So beautify. So it will just remove everything. So please, I already told you, validate your JSON always before making the experiment. Body, JSON, raw, everything is good. And method is also what? Post mapping. Okay, post method fine, but URI is candidate/register. After Flipkart. Okay, you just candidate/register. Send the request now. Registration completed. You got 200. Okay, that means request is executed successfully without any problem. But only thing is we have to worry the real conversion happened from JSON to Java or not. So see here, name, Dilip, email, password, contact. Again, inside the address property, address object, city, Hyderabad, area, Amirpet, pin code, and everything. Now see education data, education details. What is this? First education details object internally. Object 1, 10th standard, studied in ABC, passed out in 2003, percentage is 76. Second object, second educational object, list of objects, right? So that's what you got all the information converted or not. Yes, it's converted. So this is how you have to understand the requirement. This is how you have to make your JSON payload getting created from the requirement. And then from that JSON payload, you have to represent your Java class. And then you have to go with the controller layer implementation. This is what the process everybody used to follow in every application development. So any doubts in today's topic? So how can you, I mean, I will give you information like how to improve your skills of writing JSONs and all, or from JSON to Java especially. You just go, see for example, JSON tutorial, you clicked on, it will open some W3 schools, that is also fine. Okay, go here, JSON objects, JSON arrays you can take. Okay, so you just see here. Now what I can do, yeah. So this is what you have. Why don't you convert this as a Java class? Why don't you write down a controller? See, string name, integer age, list string, cars, done. Like just take some complex one. I don't think these guys are giving complex here. So or else you can do one thing also. JSON arrays, or you can do one thing. REST API, it's better approach. REST API for testing free. You just type with this, you will get a lot of links where already REST services are created. Go to there. Okay, if you come back here, what is this? Yeah, now these guys are list of all objects, right? Why don't you convert this as a Java class? It's a very simple. By seeing length of JSON payload, don't worry like, oh, I need to write a very big Java class. No, it's not it. Okay, if you're understanding logically, it's very simple. I will upload this one also. Okay, I think I did not upload Friday notes also. I'll upload everything. But what you can do here it is, you just convert. Why don't you convert? See, I will tell you how to convert also. Only thing is you just implement it. So this is what I given you. And I told you like, hey, could you please write down a Java class for this? Mapping Java class. Okay, first element is what? JSON array. Okay, so JSON array means the first thing itself. Now, if you return a Java class, something like whatever it is, you can give a name. First class name is data. And here you have any property name, you don't have anything. So that means list. Array representing what? List of values. Okay, list. Okay, leave it now. First of all, Again, what is this? One, okay, that's why I told you it's better to go always from internal to external. Write a small class, data, define two properties, and call as phone details. Phone details inside the data, and then list of phone details. That's all. Finally, list of phone details. List of phone details. Okay, something like details you can do. Or you can directly define request body like this. That's all. Request body. So that means in this case, yeah, this is what you have to define. Request body, list of phone details. That's all done. Now inside phone details, I'll give you hierarchy. You have to controller level, you have to write down that. Inside phone details, you will write down ID, name, but the third one is data. But data is again not a simple primitive or whatever it is. It's again another JSON object. So that means, okay, you just write down something like phone data or something like that. A class phone data. But property name should be data. That's all. Now you're going to write down one more class called as phone data. So from phone data, two properties, color and followed by the capacity. Okay, so you're done. Now simply go down. Everything is repeated as expected, right? So that's all. Your JSON is done. I mean, you return your Java classes. That's all. Now send this request as it is from Postman. Write a controller and endpoint. Okay, after writing the Java classes, copy this into Postman, send a request. Everything will be converted as a list of phone details object. So directly converting to the list of Java objects, because the first element is what here? Directly first JSON array. So array in the sense directly Java list. So like that, you have to make sure that. So I will add this URL also for your purpose. So here you have so many things. Just take every example. Create your own Java classes, practice, improve your practice, then only you will get the subject. Okay, I will copy paste this one also here. So any doubts? I'm done with the class for today. And I'm done with JSON creation, JSON to Java and all. So tomorrow we will see REST API topics only. You have lot of other topics, but I will discuss anything other than this. A new topic will come in tomorrow. Anything else? Any doubts now you can ask? Yeah, sorry. Happy Holi to everyone. Okay, I forgot to wish that. So, while retrieving, it's mandatory. Yeah, I'll upload Spring Framework notes. Fine. Okay. Mandatory to convert again Java object to DTV object. What is the Swami? While retrieving, what you're reading? Is it mandatory to convert again Java object to DTV object? Yeah, I told you that, Swami. Okay, it's mandatory in the sense not mandatory, but I told you one rule already. Entity classes you should not use. It's a recommendation. It's not a mandatory. There is a difference between recommendation versus mandatory. Mandatory means if you are not doing that, it will fail. Recommendation is nothing but it's a suggestion extra. If you are not following that, also your logic will work. But only thing is in a different approach they are telling you should not do that, so that in future you will not get the problems like that. So you can use entity wherever you want, but it's not recommended to use entity in other places except at repository layer. So that's why when you're sharing data back to controller from service, at service level, repository is giving entity objects. At the same time, service should not pass same entity objects to the controller, because as a recommendation, we know that entities should not be used as a transferring between another layers like service to controller. So then what? You have to create one more Java class that is called as DTO. So then your entity object is going to convert it as a DTO object, and that DTO objects you are passing back to the controller. Now controller using those DTO objects, converting as a JSON and sending that JSON to the client. That is what the history here it is. Okay. Thank you, sir. Wish you the same. Sir, can we do project together in this course? We are already doing projects only, Sujit. I cannot take again a separate while performing find all in many related queues, lazy fetching error. Yeah, find out Sai Pawan why it is giving lazy. So you have to use a fetch type property there. Okay, there is a property called as fetch type. In the mapping level, you have to configure that fetch type property, explore about the fetch type property, you will get your answer. Fetch type lazy, okay, like that you have eager loading, lazy loading, all these things. There is a property, explore about that product property, you will get it answer, your answer, okay. So whenever store the data into database, show the error missing keyword always there is any problem database. Missing keyword, erase. I don't know. I'm not sure, Jayasuriya. What is that problem? If possible, can you send me an email with error? If I have time, I will try to reply. When we have to use serializable and when use integer or string in repository interfaces. You can use integer also. Then sure. Okay. You can use wrappers also. Okay. Sorry. So let's connect on tomorrow with a new topic, but at the same time belongs to the REST API.